Shaki, and happy Valentine to all our viewers. Now we move straight to the front pages of the dailies. I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with HARDSHIP. Federal government tackles PDP governors. Others. There's a lot of anger in the land, that's according to the governors. PDP governors are playing to the gallery. That's from federal government. PDP stating the obvious. APC has ruined our economy. That's coming from Labour Party. Suffering pushing Nigeria to the brink. PDP BOT tells Tinubu. Confirms Wabara as BOT chairman. Appoints Makari secretary. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. On page 7, Asaba of Asaba. Chike Edozie passes on at 100. Edoguba. Idahosa carpets PDP governors over ad hoc delegate election. Why I didn't appeal delegate Congress outcome, that's from Ibinadion. Buhari signature forged to withdraw $6.2 million from CBN. Ex-SGF tells court. Federal government declares CBN staff orders wanted for forging Buhari signature. You can see that on page 41. And it's another time of the year again. That's for the Vanguard personality of the year. To get more of that, you can see it on page 27 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now we move to the Punch. Punch is leading with cost of living. Federal government NLC meeting deadlocked. Bakers threaten shutdown. Strike will go ahead. Federal government negotiations not fruitful. NLC leaders insist. Federal government warns against unrealistic demand as Labour seeks yearly pay rise. That can be seen on page 2. And here there are 3 pictures with the rider that says that Tinubu gives Eagles land, houses, national honours after AFCON. That can be seen on page 45. Buhari signature forged to withdraw $6.2 million from CBN. That's according to the ex-SGF. You can see that on page 7. Customers tired of estimated billings. Federal government tells Discos. Stories above the banner. Wigwe. Crash report ready March. Kingsmen declare 8-day mourning. And now the Guardian. Guardian is leading with outrage over 100 billion naira constituency project. Push for 20% of budget. And the kicker says National Assembly. You can see that on page 6. 3 firms lose 140 billion naira to naira devaluation. You can see that on business page 15. Illicit drug ban. Addict explores cemeteries for alternative. Master bakers are caterers to commence strike February 27. Federal government considers commodity board to crash food prices as court ultimatum ends. Knocks kudos for Osun lawmaker over proposed bill on state creation. Lagos Assembly decries naira depreciation, suggests ways to strengthen currency. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, Mustafa denies authorizing CBN's release of $6.2 million for 2023 poll. You can see that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Now, the Nation. Nation is leading with Emefiele's $6.2 million trial. Buhari's signature forged, says ex-SGF. Boss Mustafa disowns approval authorizing CBN to pay foreign observers during 2023 polls. 3 forgery suspects watch listed by Interpol. Federal government files charges in court. And there's a quote here that says, on the face value, I can say that this document did not emanate from the office of the president. You can see that on page 2. Now on page 4, federal government knocks PDP governors for failing as leaders. They've done nothing to promote agriculture. Audit report, no record of funds recovered between 2016 to 2019. Shetima inaugurates a panel on Ether Farmer Clash. Stories above the banner. Access Holdings await CBN's nod for Agbede as a CEO. Payment of wage award for federal workers resumes. Ministers' labours meet. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper, Air Peace begins Lagos to New York flight. You can see that on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Student News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Joining us to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Gbero Olajigbe. He's the Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alert. Good morning, Mr. Gbero.
Good morning. Always a pleasure being with you.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Now let's move straight to the stories on the front pages of the dailies, and we're talking about the hardship parents are facing. Now, the federal government disagreed with governors elected on the platform of the main opposition, People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the Board of Trustees yesterday, who blamed the government over economic hardship in the country, which they said is causing a lot of hunger and anger in the country.
Well, it's obvious to see it. I've said it several times. Hunger is on the street of Nigeria. So it has even assumed the nature of human being. Any human being you see on the road now, you have to be careful. The way you talk to the person and everything, because he's hungry and angry. And it is so, because almost to the extent that life has been taken away from him. So we have a lot of living dead in Nigeria as it stands today. Because what do you expect somebody that has not eaten, possibly for 2 days, and he has no hope of eating, even with wife and children? They have no hope of taking a meal in 2 days. So what do you call that? The PDP Governors Forum is saying what is obvious. There's nothing, even the APC governors have said it before. Tinubu said that he's aware of the pain people are going through. So if he has not seen it, why is he wouldn't have said that he's aware? But the issue is that nothing is being done to ameliorate this situation. There is hunger in the land. Food is not available. Food is not accessible. And of course, food is not affordable. And these are critical ingredients of food security. Affordability, availability, and of course, accessibility. Those are criteria by which you measure food security. But none of them is achievable in the current state of situation in Nigeria. So there's nothing strange that PDP is seeing.
Yeah, but
the response of NPC is just politics. They just want to play politics with the hunger of the people, with the anger of the people.
Well, Mr. Mayor, the federal government, they said that the PDP governors were just playing to the gallery. They're claiming that most of them have not properly utilized the increased federal allocations to improve the welfare of the people, especially with the fact that they are owing salaries, pensions, and have done nothing or little or nothing to boost agriculture, only for them to return and blame the federal government. So do you think this is the right response from the ruling government?
How is this even a response? How is this a response? If you want to situate that, if you want to at least say that PDP governor are playing to the gallery and that they have not been able to, you have to come with facts. Not only with the fact that they have mismanaged the money, with the fact that APC governors are not doing the same thing. So this is balderdash. It is not a response. It's not decent. It's not a statement. Look, whether if you want to govern well in this country, you must even take the criticisms of your enemy more serious than that of your friend. That is how governance is run all over the world. There are people who are in opposition, and opposition are meant to look at the bad part of your policy, and they deserve to be listened to. Are they not even Nigerians, even if they are PDP and everything? But that is not to extricate the governors from the problem Nigeria is facing. Mostly all of them have turned to rogues. Look at the situation in Kogi State. How can a governor that has no budget of 300 billion be stealing 80 billion? In Kogi State, the immediate past governor, Bello. How is that a governor? Do these people actually, is it not in APC? But PDP governors, most of them are rogues. APC governor, most of them are rogues. So we have a country that they have turned to a crime scene. That is what is happening. Corruption is a critical issue in the extreme poverty in Nigeria of today. And of course, it's a critical issue too in the food insecurity. that we are facing in Nigeria today. So I don't think merely saying it does not extricate PDP governors. They are all contributors to the malaise that we have that has befallen Nigeria as tragedy today. But the issue is not to be criticizing them; it's to bring forth what can be done by the governors. Some of us have pushed forth our ideas, but the president is not ready to listen. And if he's not ready to listen, the fact is that Nigerians are hungry, and all angry. So all these things have consequences. And these people should better come together and frustrate avenue for corruption and also help Nigerians to recover from this tragedy of hunger, from this tragedy of anger, from this tragedy of insecurity, from this tragedy of wayward spending of public purse, diversion of public resources, privatization of common patrimony of the people, all being through corruption. Well, those are challenges we are facing, and they should not even turn into a big bad politics.
Well, the senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshomole, said that Nigerians are currently suffering from what he describes as reckless policies of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. He recalled that some of the policies that the former president, some of the policies that he said that were designed to dehumanize the population that was already in pain. What do you think of that? Yeah, this is coming from someone who also worked under the previous administration.
Oshimole is a turncoat. This is somebody that was promoting the policies of Buhari, knowing fully that we were saying it that Buhari was deceiving Nigeria. He has no plan for Nigeria. He has no strategy to deliver anyone out of poverty. Rather, this man imported Nigerians into doom of poverty. Oshimole was one of those defending Buhari. Every policy of Buhari of Oshimole, no matter how stupid, Oshimole defended. He will still do the same thing to Bola Tinubu when he gets out of power. This is the character that cannot make Nigerians to get out of this quagmire that we have found ourselves. Because the moment the dinner table change, they change with the dinner table. That is the situation, and that is what is coming out now. A classical expression of what you call hypocrisy. That is what is being demonstrated by Oshimole by blaming Buhari policies that is supported and promoted now. He will still do that to Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he gets out of power. So they don't think of tomorrow. He canvassed for Buhari, even for second time. He defended his policy. They are doing all these things for selfish interests at the expense of Nigeria.
I want you to quickly comment on this one. Well, former secretary to the government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, yesterday said that ex-president Muhammadu Buhari's signature was forged by those who withdrew $6.2 million as authorized by the Central Bank of Nigeria on February 8, 2023. Forging the president's signature, what do you think about this as a Nigerian?
Nigeria is just a tragic comedy. Look, all this thing happened under the man that they were celebrating as man of integrity. Even though some of us know him to be not thorough, aloof with responsibility, unable to deliver and discharge his function and responsibility to the people of Nigeria. Forging signature, that is the tip of the iceberg. Many things went under the drain under Buhari. Buhari actually vandalized the economy of Nigeria and almost destroyed its polity, mismanaged its diversity, and crippled the potential of a country to emerge from economic menace. And these are sort of things that took place under him. Under him, there was a reckless corruption. People were not talking about it, heaping praise on him. Somebody that was not performing below what an average person would have done in office of responsibility, such as a presidential office. So it's not strange. Anything goes or anything went under Buhari. No structure, nothing to no structure for accountability, no framework for transparency under Buhari. Look at what happened with this is just within the central bank with Emefiele and others. Have you gone to Abamele or whatever they call him in NNPC? And yet Tinubu still retain him today without probing him. These are government agencies that were not remitting money to federation account, spending money, making money, not accounting for. They were not accounting for anything. So what do you expect? Where there is no accountability, where there is no transparency. Under Buhari and by extension, possibly to this regime, Nigeria has become and is still an accountability free zone. Nobody accounts for anything. Look at the case of Beta Edu that we are talking about, the one that they caught to. Going to 2 months now, what is the outcome? Nothing after the suspension. No report of the committee is set up, and there is no conclusive decision that have been taken on it. Is that a government that is transparent? Is that a government that is ready to be accountable? Is that a government that is ready to be trusted? Is that a just government? Is that a government that should be recognized as not corrupt? Is that a government that should be taken as not enabling corruption? These are issues.
Now, the main thing now is people are asking the boss Mustafa if he knew about this when it happened, but he said he knew nothing about it. Now another thing he said was that his role as the secretary was to prepare agenda for the meeting, and that day,
all of them, there's none I trust. But then we should acknowledge the fact that Mustafa was not explaining to anybody, but he was explaining to the court as a witness. He was in a witness box and a witness under oath in the case of Emefiele. So he has taken the oath to say what is expected to be the truth. And whether he likes it or not, I think, except if he wants to lie under oath, that is what happened. But it's shameful of a government that is served in as secretary to the federal government that $6.3 million will be taken off with forged signature. That means that it's not the first time that will be happening. That shows the extreme incompetence of Muhammadu Buhari. He was extremely incompetent. He was not a president of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, it was a very avoidable tragedy that we tolerated. Because how do you explain all this among us money that is being filtered out of our economy and resources, and you don't expect that economy to crumble? He promised to leave people out of poverty, but he ended up pushing more Nigerians into a bracket of the poor. Buhari built a citadel, he built a cathedral of poverty for Nigeria to worship in. So the hope that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will liberate Nigeria is being frittered away now. People are in doubt of that hope. He came with renewed hope. Renew what now? People call it renew shege. So the poverty has been exacerbated by his unconscionable policy. Policy that did not consider the consequences of action. Policy that did not calculate cost benefit, that did not do cost benefit analysis. You want to help somebody. You want to the situation of what Bola Tinubu has done now is that you want to help somebody to escape from a bandage. You cut off the leg. Is it not better to have even left the man in the bandage? In that cocoon? That is what his policy is looking like. And how long are we going to live like this in a country where people are at the extreme end of their tolerance? How long? Go to the street and see what is happening. People are falling sick. People are having strange sicknesses and diseases that are related to hypertension. People cannot live. They can't access health care. If they are sick, they can't feed. They are hungry. They have no hope of where to eat. Anarchy is looming by the reason of protests that is going on in some cases, and especially the only thing that is not that these people lack suggestion on what to do. I don't know why we cannot do, like I said previously and in one of my write-up recently, what can quickly be done now? 3 to 400,000 barrels should be dedicated to local refinery for every day. And then those ones should hit the local market, the Nigerian petrol station, at no cost higher than 250 naira.
But Mr. Do you think we can meet up with that supply? Because we've not been able to even meet up to the supply to Dangote, and not to talk of the local refinery, because Dangote now is talking of importing
what is happening now is that the production fell to as low as 700,000 barrels per day. But now it has risen to 1.7. Nigeria is making twice the revenue it was making under Buhari with this removal of subsidy. But why can't we now, out of 1.7 million barrels, dedicate 400,000 to local refinery, and then produce for Nigerian use at less than 250 naira at petrol meters when you get there to the consumer. The implication of that is that there will be food, the cost of food will come down, the cost of transportation will come down, life will become more meaningful to the people of Nigeria, and then government will rather than everybody is becoming thief, becoming violent, even the money you are making, are we not wasting it on people that are becoming criminals? Is that not being copper wise and naira foolish, or pence wise and pounds foolish? Is that not how we are behaving as a country? Even beyond that, are we not expected to stabilize our nation? Stabilization is the most essential part of governance. If you don't have a stabilized entity you govern, then there's nothing that you can put on that will make sense to the people, and it's not going to lead to development. You need the people of Nigeria, and you don't need them to. It's not that, because if Nigerians don't love Nigeria, if Nigeria, they don't see that their leaders care for them, and they can in return support that leader or leadership to achieve results, how do we grow as a nation? How do we develop as a nation? How do we become peace? How do we become stabilized as a nation, to the end that we put a terminal end to this raging insecurity and hunger, extreme hunger that is on in our country today?
All right. With the ban on the use of dangerous substances in the country, drug addicts are exploring cemeteries and other places for alternatives. And one of the things that they are doing is that they are going to the cemetery to exhume corpses, grind their bones, and sniff. And now some people are suggesting that the federal government and the state government should declare state of emergency on illicit drugs. Do you agree with that?
Look, what is attractive? What is attractive in this illicit drug? Look, you don't cure symptom. a medical doctor that knows his onions will carry out what you call diagnosis before offering treatment. These smokers, these Indian smokers, these drug abusers and everything, what is pushing them? Have we found out the level of frustration that is in this country, that is being faced by young people of Nigeria? Frustration of unemployment, and this is dragging them to organizations and courts that is anti-society. And one of the things they used to get high up is this illicit drug. Some of them sell it, some of them traffic in it, some of them use them. So those are challenges. We should begin to look at how do we now get our young population, virile population, productive population back into productive sector rather than abandon them without plan for them. And they become drug peddler, drug users, and of course they become a very present danger to the society or to the country. So we should not, it's not only the symptom, and that is the problem of Nigeria. You look at symptom without getting to the root cause of the problem. So as we are offering support to those that have been involved in this drug, particularly the young people, why don't we look at the root causes that is making them to be getting addicted to drug, to be trafficking in drugs and all these sundry crimes that are attached to drug abuse, or that drug abuse actually enable. So those are issues. It's not a one simple solution to that critical problem that has become worrisome. Every nook and cranny of the country you get to. And that is why you are seeing the type of violence you get in this society today. There is frustration. When people cannot manage frustration, they think they will get a refuge in drug abuse. So we should try as much as possible to see how we can help them, plan for them, and look for a way of getting them off drug, and at the same time destroying the sources of those drugs, even as we are making provision for youth development activities they can engage in.
Mr. Gray, today is a day of love, Valentine's Day. What do you have to say to our youth and to our viewers?
Well, nothing is as beautiful as love, but love means commitment to the one that you actually claim to love. Love is about commitment. It's not about recklessness. Love is about sticking to the one that you love, not about reckless commission of sexual immorality, because some will end their life today under the guise of celebrating Valentine. Some will fall into hands of ritualists today who pretend to be their girlfriend or their boyfriend if they are not careful. Love is about endurance. Love is about making sacrifice for the one you have chosen to love. It's not about becoming sexually vulgar. It's not about becoming reckless and careless with your life to the extent that you contract sicknesses and diseases, even the one that is incurable. So as we move on today, particularly the young one, they should know that there's nothing special about 14th of February. Love is what you should give every day. The moment you agree, whether you're a boy or a girl, man or woman, to make sacrifice for somebody, to put other people's interests above your own, then you are truly in love. Not the type of one we distribute in Nigeria, in the end, cripple the one that we think we love or we claim that we love. But then, I think Nigerian leaders should know that if you really love your country, patriotism is, you are not patriotic because you are in power. If you truly love Nigeria, make sacrifice for Nigeria. Demonstrate what love means to Nigeria. reduce what you are handling as legislators and as president. Make sacrifice. Stop wasting our money on foreign trips that has no meaning of bearing to our economic survival or revival. So those are ways of demonstrating patriotism at national level, at state level, at all level. Shun corruption. That is a sort of love and a demonstration of commitment to your country as leaders. So love is sacrifice.
Alright, that takes us to Mr. and Mrs. today. So Mr. and Mrs. are wearing the red and white, the color of Valentine. Mr. says, "Happy birthday, dear. Here's your gifts. It's what you like very much." And Mrs. replied, "This box is too small for what I like very much." Oh.
Nobody can ever come between Mr. and Mrs. But what you can say is that every Mr. and Mrs. somewhere and everywhere should try to accept what we can offer, even particularly at this time, so that we don't put pressure on ourselves and at the end destroy the very essence of love.
Yes, they need to reduce the billing for the period. Thank you, Mr. Go, for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure being with you.
Yes, do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. You can also visit our website www.vanguardnhr.com to get more of our top stories. So please reduce the billing today and also make sure you give love to people around you, not just your partners.